Hey guys, I'm so excited about today because I have Kelly, the car mom, on, and I've been following her for a couple of years now. And I just want to tell you, she's one of the most incredible people from a knowledge standpoint when it comes to the car industry. Her family is in the car business, and she has created an entire platform helping moms pick out like the perfect vehicle for their needs. And it even goes beyond moms. It really does. She just does a great job looking at new vehicles, used vehicles, and talking through it all, and gives you the language and the knowledge you need when it comes to car buying, because it can be an intimidating process. So make sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend. And here is my conversation with Kelly. Kelly, thanks so much for being on today. It's so good to see you again.
So good to see you. So happy to be here.
Oh, it's like the digital friendship, you know? You just, you see each other through cameras, but you feel like you're friends. So
I really do. Like, I feel so comfortable around you. Like, I hope that like when we meet in person, it's the same kind of good energy and vibes.
Oh, yeah. 100% it will. 100%. Yeah. Oh, so great. Well, I have always loved your channel because I think cars in general, they're big purchases. So I know like in my line of work, saving and being wise with that purchase is really important because it's the thing that can either like tank people if they make a bad decision, or it's the thing that like gives them so much stress and anxiety as their car. And so you just give so much great content, and especially for moms. And I think like I literally went to your page when we were looking for my minivan. I may even messaged you. I think this was a few years ago, and I was like, okay, out of this one, what do you recommend? So you're just an expert in all this world. So I think for maybe women specifically, it's probably a little bit of a stereotype, but it's probably true. It can feel kind of intimidating, right? This whole car industry. And so what have you found to be like, here's the things that you have to know, man or woman, but specifically for women, where you have like, okay, you're going to the dealership, you're shopping for a car, or you're going to an individual and finding a car, like just the car industry in general. What do we need to know?
Totally. Well, I think that when it comes to the car business or like buying a new car, people love the idea of like getting a new car, getting something fun, but they hate the idea of feeling sold. So I think if you want to feel empowered, to feel like you're making a good decision, to feel like you're in control, then don't let yourself get sold. And the way to do that is to be very prepared when you go to the dealership. It's to expect to maybe buy a car that day. It's to have, what your trade is worth lined up, what the vehicle worth is lined up. When you just walk into a dealership to test drive, people end up getting sold. And that's where I think we'll start to not like the car buying process. So like, I also have this like kind of crazy piece of advice, but I tell people like, I wouldn't even start test driving until you're ready to buy a car. Because I'm telling you, it happens every single day. People walk in, like the sales ride, they think it's a once in a lifetime thing. And there's sales professionals there that are selling the sizzle. So just be careful and don't start the process until you're ready. Or have like a really good buffer into place. Like, for example, like don't bring your trade in, like don't bring your husband, like, so you can like kind of have that walk away. I need to think about it feeling.
More of my conversation with Kelly in just a moment, but first I want to tell you about one of our incredible sponsors, Christian Healthcare Ministries. When you lose your employer-sponsored health insurance, there may be a better option than COBRA. So consider Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM is an affordable, biblically based alternative to health insurance that could be a third of the price of COBRA. Yes, CHM programs start as low as $98 a month, and CHM has helped hundreds of thousands of families take care of over $11 billion in medical bills since 1981. CHM members are also supported spiritually with prayer when they have a medical event. So try getting that kind of support with COBRA. So whether you are going through a job loss, life change, or just want to consider other options to save on healthcare costs, check out CHM. Learn more at chministries.org/budget. That's chministries.org/budget. Because a car, it's like obviously a very large purchase for people. So you normally wouldn't think like, oh, that's going to be an impulse purchase.
Totally.
But it can be. You see people do that. So
all the time.
So what is like the biggest financial mistake? What did you say it's that?
I think that one of the biggest mistakes is, yes, maybe impulse buying, but also not forecasting like what that vehicle is going to look like through all your years of ownership. This is specific to my audience, but I think it can apply to almost anybody. Like who you are year one is not who you are year 6. So like, have you forecasted how your needs, how your family is going to change over the course of ownership? I take my personal example a lot, which mind you is a little dramatic because I had 4 kids in 5 years. But like, if I would have just like bought a new car when I was pregnant with my first, the way I would have never landed on a Ford Expedition Max. So what would have happened is like around year 3, I'm pregnant with my third. I would have gotten the itch. I would have been like, gosh, this wasn't the car that I thought could go with our family. And now I'm upside down and now I don't have room for the stroller or whatever the case is. So I think it's for families, it's rushing into a car purchase. You know, everyone thinks they get pregnant, they need to go get a new car. Well, I think your Toyota Camry is fine for a car seat. Like, let's take a beat. It's fine. Let's see where we're at in 2 years. Or if they do need a new car, they're not thinking through what that looks like. They're not thinking through, now I need the third row and the trunk space and I can't fit in my stroller wagon.
Yes.
And that's where people get into big trouble. That's where they get upside down.
Yeah.
And that's not fun.
No, not at all. Well, and, you know, I always talk about cars being kind of an emotional sense of our identity that people so like take like who I am as a person is what I drive. But I never really thought about it in a sense like what you're saying. And I'm like, this is so true. It can be such just an emotional decision, whether it's I'm pregnant. Oh my gosh. Yeah. My car, my sedan isn't going to work. I need an SUV, or the car keeps breaking down. So I'm going to just go buy a brand new car for $50,000 that I can't afford because I'm just so sad about this one because I'm so depressed and it just feels like a hopeless situation. So I'm going to go fix that situation with this purchase. And so don't let the emotions drive one of the largest purchases, you know, that you make. You know, it's so much. So having the facts and slowing down and that delayed gratification almost actually lets you settle to know and actually have a better outlook of your life is what you're saying, which makes so much sense.
And again, like just to be honest with yourself and to don't not put yourself in that situation. I mean, I sold cars for years. Do you know how many times people were like, I didn't think I was going to do this today. And it's like, yeah, well, here you are. Like you have be honest. Be honest with yourself. Okay. Yes. Be honest with yourself. Don't go to the dealership unless you're ready to buy a car.
Oh, so good. Okay. I love it. Okay. When you're talking, let's say moms specifically, because there's a lot of moms that, you know, listen and watch this channel. What is the thing that you're seeing now, like feature wise, that you're like, oh my gosh, because I hadn't bought a new car in a while and we bought a van in 2020 and it was the most like, I don't know, technology advanced. And it was a van, but I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I was like, there's so much in here. So fast forward today, I'm like, I don't even know. I haven't looked at cars, but like, what's the feature that you're seeing people are like, oh, this is what I really want?
Oh, you know, it's such a good question because the cars, you can't believe the technology on some of these cars. And sometimes it does. It's almost getting to the point where I think things are starting to feel a little out of touch because it's like, also like, that's nice, but like, what if it just didn't have to cost $55,000? Like, what is about like more focuses like on vehicle affordability? Like that would be pretty cool. But I would say like, if you're wondering like what's out there, the latest and greatest, a lot of manufacturers are starting to introduce a semi-autonomous driving technology.
Okay.
Which basically means it's like a really glorified cruise control. So like when you're on the highway, you can take your hands and your feet off the pedal, off the wheel, keep your eyes on the road. They all have trackers in the steering wheel that track your eyes and they can even work through polarized sunglasses, which is cool. So if you look down at your phone, if you look over here, the car will beep at you and say, no, you have to sit here. You have to look straight.
Yeah. You can't be on your phone.
The car will drive. The car will drive. So that's like, and I really enjoy using that technology. I've used it on a couple of road trips. So that's been fun. But yeah, I mean, it all comes at a pretty big price, which in some cases it's like, and you know, like a lot of manufacturers think it's so cool to put like all these different screens. So like the second row gets a screen, the passenger gets a screen, like screen. And I'm like, oh, like who asked for all these screens? Like that's like, calm down.
Everyone chill, just chill.
Like,
so
and
good.
Yeah, it's been interesting.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, and I love it because you get to see, which is so fun. That's why I love like even following you on Instagram is like you get all the new stuff and you're like, oh my gosh, look at this and look at this. Like it's just wild what's happening. So if someone is going to buy a car, tell me some things that they should be thinking through, like even savings tips, if there is such a thing, when it comes to dealership buying. And then if you have anything, if they're buying from an individual, some things to think through.
Sure. So I think when it comes to buying and negotiating a car at a dealership, but also I think this would apply to buying, you know, through a private party. There's so much more information for the consumer than there's ever been. And there is a lot less negotiation happening on both new and used cars. And a big reason for that is because of like dynamic pricing and car prices changing every single week, needing to be updated, and all these search engines that now tell a customer like what a car is worth. It's like when you go to the dealership and you're going to test drive their 2015 Chevy Traverse, like the dealership knows you didn't come because it was $2,000 overpriced. Like the cars are priced more competitively. So, you know, a piece of advice I give to people is like, if you go find a great used car and you can verify like it is one of the best used, the best price in my area, and they don't discount it, you are not a bad car buyer. You are not a bad negotiator. Like at some point, that's what the vehicle's worth. The dealership prices it to sell. They have to. Leads are everything. If they're on page 6 of cars.com, like they're not going to get people to come through the door. And vehicles depreciate every week. So like it's in the dealership's best interest to sell these cars as quickly as possible. The same thing applies to private parties. So like I would say gone are the days of getting thousands and thousands of dollars off pre-owned cars, and truthfully new cars now also.
Yeah.
But I think the golden thing to think about is like what is still incredibly negotiable is your trade-in. Like trade-in and trade-in values is honestly where dealerships make the majority of their money, is like stealing trades and reselling them for again, what they're worth. So if you have a trade, especially now, like you have a lot of leverage. The used car market is really hurting for vehicles. So this applies to if you're buying new or used. The used car market is hurting because 5 years ago during the pandemic, there was a major chip shortage and a ton of cars just never got built. So since those cars never got built, they're now not 5 years later entering the used car market. So if you have a trade, like any dealership wants it and it's worth a lot of money. So don't forget to like know what your trade's worth and really like be the salesman of your trade, because I promise you in today's car market, like you're going to make more money on your trade than you would be negotiating off the price of their car.
So interesting. That's such a good point. Okay. Would you say for someone to, if you're buying from a dealership, to do the trade at the dealership, or do you ever see that you're going to get, you know, a better cost, or you're going to be able to sell it more through just like an individual?
I would say selling a car private party, you will make more money. I would say it's a pretty easy process if you don't have a loan on the vehicle. I think if you still owe money on the car, that deters a lot of buyers. That gets a little confusing with payoff. So like that probably might not be worth the headache to you.
Yeah.
But I would also, depending on the car you're looking for, like I would not take it out of the equation, because again, it does kind of give you some leverage. And if you have, especially if you have a good trade, like if you have a 2021 low mileage, like I think you'd be surprised how much the dealership would step up to get that car. So I would never take it off the table. Like I would not tell the dealership, I'm not interested in trading. I think you can say, you know, I'm interested in trading, kind of see what the numbers are. And then I would also do your diligence and get numbers from CarMax, Carvana, Kelley Blue Book, Edmunds, like get all the numbers and then try to, you know, get them up there. Yeah. You know, it's hard. Like,
sure.
I feel like I'm on team turn it in to the dealership because it's easier. But
yes.
You will make more if you do it yourself. So
yeah, no, it's good to know. Well, and you know, I mean, but it also factors in, you know, you have to have the time on your hands. If someone calls, like, I need to come look at the vehicle. Do you have the flexible schedule? You know, is it a reality for you too? So I think there's a level of that.
There is some states, you'd have to check your specific state, but like here in Missouri, we have a trade-in credit. So like if you trade in a vehicle for $20,000 and you're buying a car for $50,000, then you're only paying sales tax on the difference of those cars. So then you're only, you get like a bit of a sales tax benefit. Most states do that. Some states don't. So again, that's just another thing. Like, okay, so maybe I could get $5,000 more selling to myself, but I could save $1,200 on the trade-in tax credit. Okay, so now it's only $4,000. Like, is that worth giving up the next 2 months of my life to try to find it?
That's right.
So
totally.
Something to think about.
No, that's so good. Well, and knowledge is such power. Like you're saying, I'm like, this is where the internet is a positive thing in our world today. Yeah. Is that like you have the ability to go and look. So like educate yourself. Yeah. Don't walk into this blindly, you know what's going on. And I think that's really, really huge. Okay. So question for you, just because you have such a big social media presence, you're talking to so many, you know, mostly women, moms, but also guys too. But the car thing, I mentioned this earlier, but it is so true. Like in my line of work, when I talk about having levels of just contentment in your life, you don't have to chase the bigger, better thing, because there's always going to be that, whether it's like from like our cell phones to the clothes to the cars we buy, right? Vacations, like whatever that looks like. But cars is always one of my examples that I use when I talk about having levels of contentment. So for you, do you see that being an issue today? Like, do you in the car lens that you're like looking through so much, are you like, guys, don't feel like you have to keep up. Like what you drive is not you, all of this. Like, do you find that to be a problem with people today?
It's such a good question. And I have like 2 points that I want to make on that. So I think the first point is new cars are so fun. Like a new car is so fun. Don't get me wrong.
Totally.
The problem is, And like, you know, like let's say you go and you buy like a new Volkswagen Atlas and like it's a $600 payment. And you're like, okay, like it's a $600 payment, but like it's a brand new car. It's a brand new car. It smells great. It looks great. Well, the problem is in 5 years, it's still a $600 payment because you financed it for 6 years. So like you're now 5 years into this, you're still paying $600 a month and your kids have destroyed the vehicle. So it's like not like, it's not, you're not getting the same, you're dreading that payment now because it's 5 years later. So I think it's very easy in the beginning for people to justify their payment because it's a brand new car.
Yes, yes.
And then as the loan goes on, as the car gets used.
And it's not exciting anymore. The excitement wears off.
It hurts a lot. No, it hurts a lot more. And then people find themselves in this really toxic loop because then they're like, oh, well, I will get a new car. My payment only goes up $25 and it's a brand new car. And then here we are 3 years later. It's like, it's a very toxic cycle. So I would say like when it comes to thinking about a car, like you got to find a payment that you can stomach when it's a brand new car and when it's a 5-year-old car. Because like I can't stomach a $600 payment on a 5-year-old car. That would just not do it for me. So I think that's important. I also think a way to think about your current car, especially if there's things you don't like about it, like to make it relevant to my audience, like let's say your 3-year-old has to crawl underneath a car seat to get to the third row. And like, it's so annoying because like they have to crawl under a car seat and like, that sucks. I like to slow people down and say, okay, well, like 3 kids in car seats is really hard. So like, let's say you go buy the Honda Odyssey because you think it's going to be so much easier. Let's say it's going to be 25% easier to buckle your kids into the car every single day. Is that worth $50,000 to make your life 25% easier for also a short time, like when you're in this car seat phase? So like, think about what you don't like about your car right now. Okay, would a new car make it easier? Yes. Okay, how much easier? What percentage easier? And how long are you really going to have this problem for? Because if you're talking about 2 years, it's an annoying car seat setup, but another car would make it 25% easier, but that's going to cost you $50,000. So you're going to spend $25,000 a year to make your life 25% easier? Like, I just think that's crazy.
Yeah, totally.
So really like,
it's a great way of looking at it.
But for some people, like the percentage might be higher. Like I love new cars and I think a lot of families do need to buy new vehicles, but like, just know exactly what you're asking yourself.
Yes. No, that's so good. Oh, yes. Because again, it's like our life is so comfortable. Like everything's convenient to us. And it feeds itself into all these other areas of our life, including literally like, oh my gosh, my front seat has to be up so far and I don't have enough room for my bag because of the car seat back here. And it's so annoying. So I'm just going to go spend, $50,000 to fix that one problem. And you're like, and I'm slow down.
$50,000. Like, it's like your purse has more room.
Yes,
like,
totally. No, there's realities of family shifting and needing more space 100%. But yet we are such a culture of like, we thrive on convenience and comfortability. And we don't think through, the repercussions of that, even financially, because of that. Yeah. So that's such a good point, Kelly. Oh, so great. So great. I always love talking to you and just your wisdom on all the things, and especially this industry of cars. I love what you're doing. I'm serious. I'm like to have a fresh, young, fun woman out there talking about cars. I'm like, yes and amen. Like, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
You're doing the Lord's work,
We try to make
Kelly.
it fun. We try to make it fun. We try to keep it fresh. And
it's good.
Just like get women excited about cars, car ownership and everything. And like, to your point, I'm a really big fan of finding contentment in your current car. And like one of my best tips, if you don't like your car, one of my best tips is like, go get it detailed. Go get it detailed.
Yes.
Go spend $150, get an interior detail, significantly cheaper than a new car, or clean it yourself.
Yes. And it's going to scratch that itch.
It's going to scratch that itch. I promise you.
Yeah. No, it's so good. So good. Okay, Kelly, where can everyone find you? Because you have social, podcasts, all the things.
So I have a podcast called The Carpool. It's lighthearted, fun. Rachel's been on it. We had a good time.
It's so good.
I'm on Instagram and TikTok at The Car Mom. All of my vehicle tours are either on my website, thecarmom.com, or you can find them on YouTube at The Car Mom.
Beautiful.
That's where I am.
So wonderful. Well, you guys make sure to check out everything Kelly does. Kelly, thank you so much for being on. I so appreciate it.
Thanks, Rachel.
All right, you guys. Well, I hope that conversation was helpful. And we also have a resource here at Ramsey, the Ramsey Car Guide. And so I'll put a link down below if you're looking for a new car so you can check that out. And here's the thing. Owning a car is necessary for most people, but it also can be one of the ways that you waste your money the most if you're not careful. So make sure to check out what America's #1 wealth killer is actually costing you. That's coming up next. You can click here or the link below. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love.